Hello everyone, it's me Luthfia. Today we are going to learn about assessing listening. There are some topics that we are going to learn today. The first is the process of listening. The second is types of listening performance. The third is micro and macro skills of listening. The fourth is listening taxonomy. And the fifth is designing listening assessment tasks. Now we will move to the first topic, the process of listening. The process of listening may be classified in the following stages. The first is comprehending. In comprehending, the listener should comprehend of the surface structure elements such as phonemes, word, intonation, and etc. The second is understanding. In this step, the listener should understand of pragmatic context by determining the type of speech event and the content of the message. The third is determining. In determining step, the listener should determine the meaning of auditory input. He or she can use bottom-up or top-down in order to interpret the message. The fourth is developing. In this stage, the listener should develop the essence of global understanding. Now we will move to the next topic, types of listening performance. From those stages that I have explained before, clarify the types of listening performance, which include intensive, responsive, selective, and extensive. Do you know what is the difference? Let's discuss one by one. The first is intensive. So intensive listening is kind or type of listening in which listening for perception of components, for example, recognizing phonological and morphological elements. The second type is responsive. Responsive is type of listening to a relatively short stretch of language in order to make an equally short response or appropriate response to a question. The third is selective. Selective is a type of listening to develop a bottom-up. For example, scanning certain information in order to assign a global meaning or specific meaning. The fourth or the last type of listening is extensive. So, extensive is type of listening to develop a top-down global understanding of spoken language. For example, listening for the essence, for the main idea, and making inferences. Next, the topic that we are going to learn is micro and micro skills of listening. Let's start with the micro skills of listening. Micro skills of listening include discriminate among the different sounds of English, retain chunk of language in short-term memory, recognize English stress pattern, for example, intonation, rhythm, and etc., recognize reduced form of words, distinguish word boundaries and core of words, recognizing their significance, process speech at different rates of delivery, process speech containing pauses, errors, correction, and etc., recognize grammatical word classes, system, patterns, rules, and forms. Recognize sentence constituents. Recognize that a particular meaning may be expressed in different grammatical form, and recognize cohesive devices in spoken language. On the other hand, micro skills of listening include recognize the communicative function of utterances, infer situation, participant, and goals using real-world knowledge, predict, infer, deduce cause and effect, detect relation, new keyword information from different event and situation, distinguish between literal and implied meaning, use facial, kinesthetic, body language, and other nonverbal clues to decipher meaning, and develop listening strategies such as detecting keywords or guessing the meaning of words from context and etc. That's all about micro skill and macro skills of listening. Now we will move to the listening taxonomy or list of the thing that makes listening difficult. The first is clustering. So clustering means attending to appropriate chunks of language, phrases, and clauses. The second is redundancy. It means recognize the kinds of repetition. The third is reduced form. It means understand the reduced form. The fourth is performance variables. Performance variable means be able to eliminate false start, pauses, and correction in natural speech. The fifth, colloquial language. So colloquial language means comprehend idiom, slangs, and reduced form. The sixth is rate of delivery. It means maintain the speed of delivery, processing automatically as the speaker continues. Next, the seventh, stress, rhythm, and intonation. It means correctly understanding the element from spoken language. And the last or the eighth is interaction. Interaction means managing the interactive flow of language from listening to speaking to listening and etc. Now we will move to the last topic, that is designing listening assessment tasks. Let's start with the intensive listening. There are some types of assessment in assess intensive listening. The first is recognizing phonological and morphological elements. Those include first, phonemic pair consonant, phonemic pair vowels, and the example you can see on the screen. And then we have morphological pair ed and d. Stress pattern in count, one word stimulus. That's the example of recognizing phonological and morphological element. The second type of assessment in intensive listening is paraphrase recognition. It can be sentence paraphrase or dialogue paraphrase. Next, we will move to the assessment in responsive listening. There are some type of assessment in responsive listening. The first is paraphrase recognition. So in paraphrase recognition, we can do appropriate response to a question and open-ended response to a question. The third is selective listening. There are some ways to assess the students' selective listening. The first is listening close. And then information transfer. Information transfer can be multiple choice cued selection, single picture cued verbal multiple choice, information transfer chart filling, and etc. The fourth or the last is attentive listening. The assessment to check the students' attentive listening include dictation, communicative stimulus response tasks. It can be dialogue and authentic question on details, dialogue and multiple choice comprehension items, and etc. So that's all about assessing listening. If you have question or comment, you can drop it in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Goodbye.